Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident fanalist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_natam. Well, sorry for the hiatus. Had the COVIDs kind of run through our family. I've been bedridden for a couple days here. Still not feeling 100%, but I mean, how can I not force myself to wake up and celebrate on a glorious day like today? If you would have told me $1,000, either the Lions and Vikings will be in the NFC Championship game against each other, or both of them will be bounced in their first games, it would not take me 2 seconds of hesitation to tell you that I think what's going to happen is Lions-Vikings NFC Championship game. I had no anticipation of this happening. What I wanted to happen was Philadelphia lose, Detroit lose, Vikings lose, Chiefs lose. If any one of those teams I thought was going to lose, I would have thought it was the Chiefs. Now, again, I've said that the Chiefs are going to win because it's just what they do. I can't explain it. They just never stop winning. I mean, I can kind of explain it because of the frickin' refs, and we can talk about that in a minute, but good Lord, that is annoying. But I just would not have thought, and it is kind of crazy, and I know we can't talk too much because of the performance that we watched, but man, the absolute downfall of all three NFC North teams, and almost entirely because of their quarterbacks. The Packers lost in the playoffs, in my opinion, because of Jordan Love. The Vikings lost in the playoffs because of Sam Darnold. And the Lions lost in the playoffs because of Jared Goff. Just absolute madness. I am so happy. Again, the Chiefs losing would have made this perfect, but I don't know what's going to happen today. I haven't watched the games, but you couldn't have asked for anything quite better than that. I mean, as long as the Vikings and Lions get bounced, you can't really hurt me. I don't want to see the Eagles win a Super Bowl. I don't really want to see a Chiefs win a Super Bowl. But I think I've said it before. At this point, I don't super care. I mean, if the Chiefs win, it's just kind of like a reset. I mean, they're okay, right. They're a dynasty. Everybody hates them, whatever. Nobody else wins, though, is the point. It's kind of like us against the Chiefs. Chiefs got us again, aw shucks. It's certainly better, in my opinion, than the Eagles or the Vikings or the Lions or the Bears or the 49ers, or so I can tolerate it. But man, are we right on our way? If there is just a way that we could have like a Washington and LA NFC championship, and then just make sure that either Buffalo or Baltimore beats Kansas City, I'm in heaven. And we dodged a major bullet because this was setting up to be a disaster. I mean, think about how many NFC teams I didn't want to be in the Super Bowl on top of the Chiefs. The odds are just stacked shockingly against us. Now they're looking pretty good. And I tell you what, the Bills and the Ravens are looking pretty scary. Granted, it's the playoffs and it's the Chiefs, so I'm sure it's not going to matter. But I don't know, man. Anyways, Lions lost, and in spectacular fashion. In fact, they didn't just lose. They got the living crap beat out of them, and they lost essentially the way that we all said that they would. Defense. Well, the turnovers hurt the defense, but they had, 31 points scored on them at halftime? Their offense is scary and was always going to be scary and was going to score a bunch of points. But what did I say? At the end of the day, are you going to be able to go toe-to-toe, blow for blow with I mean, I wasn't picturing Washington. I was picturing teams like the Eagles or whatever, but with teams that can simultaneously cut through your defense but also stop your offense or at least slow it down. Eventually, you're going to find that team, and it's not going to go too well. Well, they went up against Washington, who really is not the kind of team that I thought was going to be up to the task, but here we are. Let me also jump out in front of this real quick, because I mean, sometimes people just like to find any reason to make this about the Packers being bad. I don't, well, whatever. The idea being, Well, now I feel even worse about our record because we lost to these teams, and these teams are bad. Okay. I hate to go through the whole logic thing again, but I'm pretty sure one of those premises is pretty flimsy there. These teams are bad. Why? Because they lost? That makes them bad? Come on. You feel, okay, so you don't feel confident in the Packers' record. Compared to whose? Compared to whose? Give it a rest, will you? It's football. This happens. We got freaking lucky that this wasn't Vikings-Lions NFC Championship. Lucky. We got lucky that Darnold and Goff imploded. Imploded. Oh, why couldn't we do that against the Lions? Well, why couldn't anybody do that against the Lions? Literally anybody. I don't know, but I have one guess. I think maybe we could have at least won one of those games if we had been given 5 turnovers. You think? You think it's possible? Heck, I hate to be crazy here, but I think we could have won both games if they had given us 5 turnovers. In fact, let me take it even a step further here. And this is super crazy. I think we go undefeated and win the Super Bowl if somebody throws the ball at us 5 times. Of course, I don't know that, but I feel decent about it. I feel pretty decent about it. Let's just give it a rest, okay? I literally had more Packer fans come at me than I had Lions fans come at me yesterday about, oh, you maybe should shut your mouth because the Packers lost to them twice. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? No, I'm not going to shut. This is my responsibility, moron. People are crazy, man. Some Packer fans hate seeing Packer fans happy more than Vikings, Lions, and Bears fans. But let's go through a couple things, shall we? Why don't we go ahead and start with this? Justice Mosqueda posted this on social media. He said, we aren't even to the fun part of the contract yet, talking about Jared Goff. In 2024, Jared Goff's contract was $27.2 million. In 2025, that was $32.6 million. In 2026, it's $70 million. Now, very obviously, they're not going to be paying $70 million, but there's no easy way out of that. There's no just snap your fingers and, now it's not a problem. No, the only real recourse here is to kick the can down the road, which means if at any point you recognize that maybe Jared Goff is never going to be the guy to get us there, oh well, he's yours for a long time. Long time. He love you, long time. And you love him, long time. Because the funny thing is, you think, well, maybe they'll just move on from him. First of all, they would not do that. They're not going to tear down and rebuild at this point, as close as they got. They're going to ride this pony. But even if they wanted to, it would be $64 million in dead money to get rid of him. So they're not going to do that. And because they can't get rid of him, and because they can't pay the $70 million, they're going to have to kick the can down the road. So even if you look at it and say, well, 2027, technically they could move on because it's just $29 million in dead cap. Not that that's great, but it's a thing that you could do. Not anymore, because when you kick the can down the road, suddenly that 29 is going to shoot up. And even in 2028, where it's 14.6, now that's going to shoot up. So he will be here for 2026, 2027, and probably 2028, which means he's going to ride out this entire contract. So if he's not the guy, he's going to not be the guy for the next 3 years. But no, he's probably the guy. He's probably fine. It's not a situation where he's really good so long as he maintains this really good offensive line, as long as his offensive coordinator can scheme guys wide open, and so long as it's not the playoffs. I'm sure that's not it. No, it's something else. Anyways, let's go ahead and find a receipt. Let's see. Doop-de-doop-de-doop. Oh, found one.
So you want Detroit. Then you got Detroit.
Yep.
And Commanders fans, Detroit's got you and your third worst rushing defense in the NFL and your rookie quarterback and just an insane environment Saturday night where we got all day to get right, if you know what I mean. You have no concept of what you're walking into. None whatsoever. We are 60 minutes away from hosting an NFC championship game. And if you thought that I was going to roll in here today and just be calm about that and say, let it play out and stuff like that.
Maybe should have done that.
I will not. And this, we can just record and run back tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday.
Might do that. Might do that.
And then Friday, I'll be even more extra about it. We are 60 minutes away from hosting the NFC Championship game here in Detroit to go to the Super Bowl. We are 60 minutes from. You think that you're going to walk in here and stop that from happening?
Stand on business, Neil. Stand on business.
And your awful defense and your rookie quarterback, you think you're going to stop that? Ain't no way.
The rookie.
Yeah. Just makes it sting all the worse, doesn't it? When you call out how bad a football team is and then get embarrassed like that, there's no walking that back. You can't come back and be like, well, they're really good, though. Nope, you can't do that. Terrible defense, rookie quarterback, the whole 9 yards. Then, of course, for those of you that are like, oh, leave them alone. They're good people. They're nice people. They just haven't, they just haven't had it yet. They're just trying to have fun. Why can't you leave them alone? Here's the host talking about how they need to injure Jaden Daniels in this game.
If he runs the ball 10 times, he's going to go to the blue tent once. Yeah. I promise you that. And I won't feel bad about it. I'll look you right in the eye right now. This isn't about friendship. If he puts himself at risk, he's going to pay the price. Yeah. And if it takes a flag to do it, then it takes a flag to do it.
Okay, just a couple things. So first of all, I've been on record saying I'm okay with the idea that, this is going back a ways before mobile quarterbacks became a very popular thing. But if a quarterback dares to run, he's daring to get himself hurt. And I don't necessarily mind if a guy like that's not supposed to get hurt gives you an opportunity to hit him, you hit him hard, but you hit him legal. You know what I mean? It's just a regular old hard hit. The idea being quarterbacks can't really take a lot of the hard hits that a lot of these other guys can. For him to come out and say that, first of all, we want to send him to the blue tent, but also if it takes a flag to do it, I'm okay with that. You're talking about an illegal hit that takes him out of the game. This is the cocky douchebag that was talking about how they're just going to steamroll this team, right? Here is, I'm going to pick on these guys a little bit because, you got my attention. I'm going to go find out all the stupid stuff you said. Here they are talking about Jameson Williams, the most overhyped player, well, at least among Detroit fans.
J-Mo and Amon-Ra, I don't know if I'm just being a little bit of a bias of a fan. Kind of climbing into that conversation because J-Mo has every bit of opportunity to be just as good as Justin Jefferson. I'm not talking about just in terms of like what Justin Jefferson does specifically, in terms of just jumping up and catching the ball with three different human beings.
Game impact.
Yes. The same way Tyreek Hill is a threat every single play to score a touchdown. Jameson Williams is slowly becoming that the more he and Goff kind of like have worked on their relationship and chemistry. And you've seen that multiple times this year. It doesn't necessarily have to always be a bomb either. It could give with Jameson Williams, it could be a little bit of a slant.
Or on the sideline. You see him mixing up cornerbacks on the sideline.
Or because he's tight with the team now, too. The Amon-Ra little curl, then you just pitch and catch, too.
Yeah, so Jameson Williams in the same category as Justin Jefferson. Just as impactful as Justin Jefferson is. You guys have probably noticed that, right? Like when you see the Lions, your mind immediately goes to Jameson Williams, immediately. The same way it does for Justin Jefferson. Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. And these guys were just feeling themselves. This is why this needed to happen. They were, it gets back to what we talked about a long time ago. They don't know how to act. They're just talking freaking reckless over here. And they feel like they can because who's going to keep them in check? Yeah, Jared Goff, MVP. Jameson Williams is Justin Jefferson. And he might not even be our best receiver. Okay, bro.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Give the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let him do what he does. That's by 1,000 cuts. The man dyed his hair. That means he's gone super saiyan. Amon-Ra St. Brown, be the superstar you are paid to be. All right? Mr. Mike Florio. Open his mouth up to say some dumb.
I forgot about that.
Some you finished top 5 this season. Another All-Pro season. But you're not living up to the contract. The guy that roots for Justin Jefferson, who just didn't even make it out of the playoffs.
First of all, is that disqualifying if you don't make it out of the playoffs? And by the way, I don't want to hear any bull crap about we made it further than you in the playoffs. We made it further than you in the playoffs. Bro, you didn't win a single playoff game. So that doesn't wash. At least the Vikings last year when they said it, won an additional game. They won one more game than the Packers did. It was against 2 less than quality opponents, but at least they did it. But I just want to be clear because Florio is some scumbag because he roots for Justin Jefferson. and Justin Jefferson didn't even make it out of the playoffs, whatever that even means necessarily, I guess make it to the Super Bowl is the standard for being a good receiver. I don't even know. This is so stupid.
Prove this man wrong. Remember his name when you continue to make your name. Your father named you something special because he knew you would be something special. Go out there tomorrow night and be that type of special. Kill them every time you touch the ball. Death by 1,000 cuts. Run
I don't know if this is supposed to be Tony Montana or what, but it's not very good.
the clock out. Break the tackles and break their souls.
Yeah, so how'd that go? How did that whole breaking their souls thing go? You got J-Mo, who is Justin Jefferson, and then you got Amon-Ra, death by 1,000 cuts over here. How did that all turn out? If I'm not mistaken, Jameson Williams had as many receptions as he had interceptions, which is 1. Jameson Williams had 1 reception for 19 yards, and he had 1 pass that was intercepted. St. Brown did have a good day. Unfortunately, the idea that all he needs to do is be himself and have a big day and all that stuff and you're going to win, turns out no. Turns out no. That's lie detector test determined that is, in fact, a lie. That's a lie. You lied. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and keep making fun of the Lions a little bit because it's funny.
Expect Jared Goff to do a lot of play-action passing, hitting J-Mo down the field. That is going to be a weapon for the Detroit Lions offense. This quarterback matchup is what people are talking about, Sean. Jaden Daniels versus Jared Goff. How do you see it panning out?
It is a pick-your-poison situation. It really is. I want you guys to think about this. And I'm going to use the words. I'm going to use the words from the Washington fans that we talked to, okay? You heard what a Commander fan said.
Yes.
We cannot play man against them. They will pick us apart with their corners. Okay.
Yeah.
Then play zone. I almost want you to play zone.
Yes.
Because then you've got Amon-Ra, you've got Laporta, you've got those underneath things. I mean, Spenny, this really is a pick your poison.
Well, it's pretty astute on several levels. Number one, their man guy did nothing, Jameson Williams. Their zone guys did produce, St. Brown and Gibbs. The other really astute observation, I don't know if you noticed, he said it's a pick your poison type of game and that Jared Goff will pick you apart. And boy, did they nail it with the picks because there were a lot of those. Lots of picks, but you know what I mean? They suck.
Sean McVay, Super Bowl winning head coach who played in the Superdome for an NFC championship game, said Detroit was the most insane environment he's ever coached in. No, Jaden Daniels can say, oh yeah, you have no idea what you're going to walk into. A whole day of Lions fans in second best since 1-1.
You know what's hilarious about this too? They are so obsessed. I mean, they're really starting to remind me of Seattle Seahawks fans with the whole 12th man thing. You got half-empty stadiums forever, and now you want to jump up and pretend like you got the most loyal, strong fans in all of football. Couple funny things. Number one, there's videos all over the place showing Lions fans pouring out of the stadium with over 7 minutes left. Just pouring out. So yeah, while there are some die-hard Lions fans that deserve a lot of credit for staying loyal to this team for a long time, who are those other people? Who are the people not only packing your stadium, but everybody else's? Where were they when the team wasn't doing well? And if you want to know who they were, well, I got a hint for you. It's the ones that were walking out as soon as they knew that the team was going to lose. It's the same ones that didn't show up when the team was expected to lose. It's also funny because they're so proud of this just scary, hostile, loud, dangerous environment. Oh, and you don't even know. How many times did they show Jaden Daniels on the sideline and they even commented, like, what is his pulse rate, like 42 right now? He was not scared at any point ever in that game. Jaden Daniels was never rattled, never scared, never upset, just continually kept going out there, kept playing, and kept picking you apart. And as much as that is probably more so to Jaden Daniels' credit than anything else, it's still freaking hilarious that you all think you're real big and bad and tough and scary, and this rookie quarterback came in and just went, eh. He literally just walked in and goes, it's not that bad. I played in college stadiums that are a little more raucous than this, and he probably has, to be fair.
p.m. getting liquored up. Ford Field's going to be nuts, man. These guys don't know.
Tony Dungy is not one to make the overstatement. Tony Dungy is just straight across the board. When Tony Dungy sat there before that game against the Vikings and said, with a straight look on his face, looked right in the camera and said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never seen a stadium like this. That meant something to me.
Yes.
I'm glad it meant something to you because it didn't mean anything to Washington or to Jaden Daniels. It meant nothing to them. Maybe it was because you guys got quiet at halftime, but still, yeah, not that impactful. Let's just call it what it is. Also, here's what really sucks for you. And the Packers have been through this, and you can certainly turn it around. Quick rebuilds happen with a really good front office and whatnot. So I don't want to completely count you out. I counted out the Vikings, and they popped up. I didn't count out the Lions, but speculated that the downfall was coming at some point, and it certainly hasn't yet. I said it about the Chiefs, too, and that's never happened and probably never will, ever, for all of human history. Partially because Mahomes is going to play till he's 90, partially because the world will end the second he retires. Where was I going with that? Oh, so here's what sucks. You have a really talented offensive coordinator. By the way, I'm not saying he's a good head coach. I don't know if he'll be a good head coach, but he's a talented offensive coordinator. The fact that your quarterback went out and you scored a touchdown in like 3 plays from the 25 is crazy. That's crazy. He's leaving. Your defensive coordinator. I don't actually know if he's any good. Hard to tell. Defense sucks, but your players all got hurt, so it's kind of a wash. Don't know that Detroit's defense is ever really elite. I mean, I think when you have the best pass rusher in football, it looked good, but I think that's I think a lot of defensive coordinators look good when that's the case. Anyways, doesn't matter. He's probably leaving. Yeah, he might not. I don't know. We'll see. You're going to be losing some front office people. Beyond that, now you're going to be battling uphill a little bit. And I'm sure your fans will kind of, they'll get back on the wagon, but there's going to be a feeling of, if not this year, then when? If we couldn't win it this year, if we couldn't even win a single playoff game with this team this year, it doesn't get better than this. Especially since what do you do to improve? I mean, you get Aiden back, that's true, but you're not getting a quarterback, and that's why you lost. So I guess just hope that you're healthier and your quarterback doesn't turn the ball over 3 times plus 2 additional turnovers. I guess that's the hope. I think Goff turned it over 4 times, 3 picks and then the fumble, right? And then freaking interception by a wide receiver. Brilliant stuff. So the season ends once again with your head coach crying, which I don't understand this whole endearing thing. Everything the guy does is just endearing, right? When he's super tough and macho and masculine, it's like, oh yeah, he's super tough and macho and masculine. And then when he cries, it's like, well, yeah, he's so passionate. Like, bro, okay. The dude's going to cry every year that they lose, and I'm, not going to make fun of him? Because I absolutely am. Give me a break. Yeah, Matt LaFleur is super emotional, right? How many head coaches do you know cry every single year that they get bounced from the playoffs? I'm struggling to remember a single coach crying, and Dan Campbell does it kind of all the time. The problem is, after a while, everything that was once endearing becomes annoying. And I'm not just talking about for Packer fans, I'm talking about for Lions fans as well as Lions players. You're not the little dogs anymore. You're not just these people that nobody believed in and just trust me and we're going to get to the mountaintop. Bro, you're at the mountaintop. And a lot of the people on your team have spent almost their entire careers at or near the mountaintop. So this whole little dog thing, little brother thing doesn't apply to the team. You're just a good team that's expected to be good. These guys haven't been Lions fans their whole life. They don't know. They don't care. So now you go into the draft having kind of already done your all-in thing. Remember, when you start drafting running backs and linebackers in the first round, you kind of feel like you've already arrived. They also gave away a bunch of their picks because they're kind of pushing all-in kind of thing. And so now you pick at 28 and 60. That's your first and second round. Then you have a 4th, a 6th, and 3 7s, and that's it. You have 2 picks in the top 100. 2. By the way, I was wrong. I just looked at it. They already ticked this over to the next year. It's actually next year that Jared Goff's $69 million kicks in. So they got one more year that they can ignore this problem. Anyways, please continue.
Hey, you know what? This is just a PSA for anybody who needs to know. I've seen too much narratives online suggesting that somehow this is supposed to be a game.
BTA.
Y'all must have forgot exactly what season it is. BTA, just a reminder, let the people know.
Built to ass. Y'all know what's happening Saturday night, man. It's destined. It's preordained, bro. Let's go.
It's a playoff game, and y'all are going to come out here and say it's not even going to be close. Not even going to just be like, yeah, I think we're going to win. We're clearly the better team. All that's no. It's you guys saying it's going to be a game. You're the problem, bro. You can't even let people say I think Detroit's going to win, but it's going to be a game, or I think they'll keep it close, or something. That is objectionable to you, man. You guys needed this so bad. Listen, everybody else in the NFC North has this. Everybody's got a complex, and you guys had a complex. But now you don't have one. Your complex before was, we're just the worst team in the NFC North. We're always bad. We're always terrible. Now you're not, and you have no regulator. Packer fans, we go to the playoffs and we get bounced. It's what we do, right? Vikings fans rarely go to the playoffs, but when they do, they get bounced. It's what they do. Bears fans are bad at football, and they know it, and it's what they do. Lions fans just don't seem to have that. So they need this. They need to start having these memories embedded in their brain so that when they start winning, you start to build up those negative fans, right? The negative fans will come out first like, oh yeah, it'll just be like last time. It'll just be like last time, right? And you'll fight it, and you'll fight it, and you'll fight it. But eventually, that voice is going to start coming up in your own head, at least enough so that while you'll disagree with the negative fans, you'll at least remember how painful it was when you ran your mouth and had it thrown in your face a lot. And by the way, this is also how I'm doing everybody a service, as is everybody else that's throwing this in their face. If you want them to keep talking this much trash and being as obnoxious as they were last year, by all means, just let them be. Just let them be, because they will repay you by not remembering anything and coming right back at you. Now, granted, the strategy does not work for the Chicago Bears. I don't know what to tell you. They're a little slow in Chicago, okay? Again, this is coming from somebody who went to Chicago public schools. I can tell you, the education, not so good. We're a little slow, okay? So I don't know what happens out there in Detroit. Probably not great schools. I believe Minnesota and Wisconsin have pretty good schools. So this might be surprising. I don't know, but yeah, I don't. It seems intuitive that they would be able to comprehend this. Maybe they can't. But the bottom line is, we got to try. And if you feel bad for Lions fans, the best thing you can do for them is to beat them over the head with this as hard as they can. Because if you don't, they're just going to set themselves up for this pain again. Don't let them do that. Don't let them get hurt. Go mock a Lions fan today and save them. Can you do that? With just $1 a day, with just one mean tweet a day, you too can save a Lions fan from 2025 ridicule and embarrassment and shame and receipts. Lots and lots and lots of receipts. In case you're struggling to find receipts to throw in their face, allow me to continue to help you.
Let's go, baby! You know how much we whipping today? Jaden Daniels! What that Jaden Daniels on baby! I'm yo daddy!
Now, to be fair, I think he was talking trash. He maybe is trying to hit on him. I don't know. I'm not sure how the kids are doing that these days. It's kind of borderline for me. He's going to spank Jaden Daniels and call him daddy, I guess. I don't know. I think he's talking trash.
Detroit Lions hosting a playoff game again. You know what we do at home? We don't lose. This playoffs, we got a rookie coming into town, 34-20. He's going to look like a rookie today. All Lions, baby. Guess what? We win next week, too. We're going to the Super Bowl. Detroit Lions by 1 million.
Yeah, it was close. You almost pegged the Lions score exactly. And as far as the Washington score, also kind of close. They did get to 24 and not 20, but that was in the first half. Again, the other thing that's really funny about this There were all kinds of expectations, but one of them was that their defense, they genuinely believed that their defense was going to destroy Jaden Daniels and this offense. Not like, we're going to win in a shootout, 41-37 or something. No, we're going to score a lot of points, and we're going to keep them from scoring points. It was bold, man. And then finally, before the break, we got one more score prediction here. Let's see what this fine fellow thinks.
Here we go in the playoff divisional round, and it's easy this time. Easy, 42-28. Lions.
42-28. Yeah, this one just isn't close, really. It's just not. It's not very close in general. Although again, if we just look at the first half, 28 points for Washington. I guess it is relatively close because they had 31 in a half. So there's that. All right, let's take a break, and then we got some whining and crying as opposed to being all excited because the game actually happened, and now they got to eat their words. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Lions lose in the postseason. You guys know I've been doing these videos a long time, and I try to be as reactionary as possible. It's very in the moment, but tonight is one of those ones where I almost want to choose my words carefully as to not say stuff that's too mean. I don't think recency bias applies here. That is one of the biggest duds in the history of Detroit sports. And you guys, I try to come on here and say, hey, the other team played great, and they did. Jaden Daniels is wonderful. I thought Dan Quinn called a really good game. Every gotta-have-it play, they had it. They were aggressive on fourth down. They were good on the line of scrimmage. They protected Jaden Daniels. All that's true. This completely falls on the Detroit Lions and the Detroit Lions coaching staff for having a baffling game plan. Why they got away from Gibbs so often, I don't know. You had Goff out there tossing it like he was playing in the Arena Bowl. I didn't understand that. Defensively, they got gashed from the first drive, and they never relented. They could not get a fucking stop to save their lives all night. First half was ridiculous. I mean, I don't know in a regulation NFL game if I've ever seen anything like that where the Lions offense, it was chunk play after chunk play. They weren't getting close to getting stops. They weren't getting it to third down. It was that level of easy for them. What's going on, man? I feel so bad for these fans. And this is where I just get so frustrated because we've been saying we got to live under the belief that this is different. And we thought it was different last year, and it was different this year. What this team did in the regular season was not a fluke. And I think over the last several years, this organization has done a remarkable job of flipping the script in regards to how people feel about them. I don't really know how else to put this. Pretty much all of that is undone tonight. Because, yes, and is the window still open? Of course it is. Of course it is. This was the magic season. This, every single time things were about to go sideways this year, they didn't. They responded, and they made plays, and Goff was great. Or the defense would step up despite the injuries. And they came out tonight, and they could not have played worse. This literally could not have gone worse if they tried. You have Jameson Williams throwing passes. It's really unfortunate because, and I don't look, it's so easy to go with the same old Lions thing. I'm not doing that. The fact is, despite the fact that this team all season showed heart and grit and determination when it mattered most, they did what they've been doing for decades as an organization. They down their leg. It does not get worse than that. This is disgusting. And there's nothing I can say that's going to ease this. This is a terrible, terrible loss. It's a brutal performance, and as great of a year as it was. There was a lot of magic this season. And Detroit football, as a competitor, isn't going anywhere. But I'll be real with you guys. And I often don't say this. I thought this was the year, to be honest with you. I watched them this season. Every single time I felt like there could be something that could throw a wrench in the plans. They bounced back. And then you come out tonight and you play not just the worst game you played this season, the worst game you've played here in a long time. I'm just, for the young fans out there, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Because usually I try to be like, hey, whatever, it's a game. These are the ones that you don't really get over. This is 2013 ALCS bad for me. It's worse than last year's game, to be completely honest. Because when push came to shove, I did think the 49ers probably had a better team a year ago. Lions gagged in the second half, but still, I felt like there were pieces missing. There weren't pieces missing. this team is better than the Washington Commanders, a Washington team that even Washington fans were like, this is amazing, but we're probably 1 year away. And they aren't. Jane Daniels was incredible, and now it's time for a rough offseason. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be honest. I feel like this is kind of my fault. You know, if you want to blame somebody, you can. I mean, I don't know. I didn't have Jameson Williams throw a pass, but if you want to put it on me, you can. So I'm sorry, Detroit. This one's wrong.
Now, again, right after a loss, everybody's a little bit more down, and they'll start to find their footing again. They'll come back stronger than ever. But I do think it's worth pointing out that he kind of highlighted some of the things that I had said. He doesn't usually say it, but he really thought this was the year. This year was different for them. And you know, again, I really would be shocked if they come across a better season than that. Just based on the fact that very rarely does any team come across a better season than that. And when you're one and done after 15 wins, that's going to be a little bit of a shock to the system.
I don't know what to say, guys. I guess you guys know they picked the worst night for their worst game of the year. 15 wins, the bye week, too many coaching interviews for these guys, read their own press clippings. They weren't prepared. They got deep pants tonight. What a disaster. 5 turnovers. Penei Sewell was hurt. Meek Robertson's injury broke the dam. Goff was concussed. They didn't force a punt. It was really, really bad. Out-coached. Their Dan beat our Dan this time. No Super Bowl for us yet. We'll wait for Super Bowl 60. We like nice even numbers like that, I guess. I hope Ford makes a Tigers truck. February 17th, pitchers and catchers. See you guys.
By the way, who was it that made that point? That I was kind of shocked and astonished that their coaches were out doing interviews for their bye week. You got an extra week to prepare for your upcoming opponent. And your offensive and defensive coordinators, and remember, they don't have a guy at head coach that is running either of those. A lot of teams, most teams have that, right? Matt LaFleur is really the main offensive coordinator for our team. Their offensive coordinator is the offensive coordinator. Their defensive coordinator is the defensive coordinator. And both of those guys spent the entire week off gallivanting around the NFL, prepping for and doing interviews for head coaching jobs. Now, do I know for sure that that would have made the difference? No, I don't know that. But I do know that taking things for granted is a real good way to get yourself evicted from the playoffs. Just assuming that we can just sleep in that first round of the playoffs because it's going to be so easy. That's pretty crazy. Oh, you think they weren't working? You think they weren't working? Listen, it's a zero-sum game, buddy. Every minute that you spend prepping for, setting the schedule for, hopping on a plane to, catching a cab to, sitting in an interview room is a minute not spent prepping for a game. So yeah, can you do 2 things at once? You can do a lot more things than that at once. You can do 8, 9, 10 things in the span of a week. But you can't do them all at the same time. And when you dedicate your time to one thing, you can't dedicate it to any other things. And think how much time it took. How many different coaching interviews did they take? And then how much time does that mean you're on the phone with your agent? How much time are you having to work with other teams as they talk to you on the phone and schedule like coming to meet and you know, this, that, or the other? How much time are you talking to your agent about prep and making sure you understand the right things to say and the right, you know, how much prep do you have to do on the team? You think you're going to walk into a job interview with the Raiders and just have no real knowledge of the Raiders outside of what you just already happen to know as a head coach? You don't think it'd be a good idea to get an understanding of the organization, of the players, of the salary cap situation, of the draft situation? There's a lot of research and a lot of prep that goes into that. Learning about who you're actually going to be having the meetings with and learn about those people. Learn about the other coaches and maybe where they went wrong. And you have to do that for every single team that you're going to meet with. So no, I don't think that it's not a big deal because they can do 2 things at once. I think that's a stupid notion for people that seem to think that, you know, winning in the playoffs and winning in the NFL is just some happenstance thing that just happens just by shrugging your shoulders. But I hope it was worth it. It's going to put a lot of question marks on these guys, especially the defensive coordinator, who doesn't have a ton to put on his resume to begin with, aside from the fact that he works under Dan Campbell for the Detroit Lions, who happen to be an impressive team as a whole. And Ben Johnson, there's already questions about whether he can be a head coach and not just an offensive coordinator, and now you put some stupid bull crap on tape, like the Jamison Williams interception, and you get one and done bounced in the postseason, which isn't great because nobody wants to be stuck with somebody that doesn't know how to actually win in the postseason. So there's already a ton of risk involved in this decision. You know, the best thing you can do to actually get a head coaching job, rather than interviewing because you know that these people are going to be jumping all over you, prep really hard, win the game, win the Super Bowl, and you can punch your own ticket anywhere you want.
Same old Lions.
Never forget. I mean, SOL. That's all it is. SOL. That's what we got. Forever.
Yeah, sounds about right. Before we bounce out of here real quick and I go take a nap, I'm going to go through some of the next-gen stats that popped up here. So Amon-Ra St. Brown specifically popped off about Dyami Brown. He was drafted in front of him, decided he was going to talk trash about him. Might not have been the best idea. Dyami Brown caught 6 of his 8 targets for 98 yards in the divisional round against the Lions, recording 80 of his yards on targets 10-plus yards downfield. Brown has now totaled 50 or more yards on downfield targets in 3 of his last 4 games after doing so just once in his first 61 career games. You guys didn't notice he was heating up? Man, maybe shouldn't have talked so much trash, I guess. I don't know. Jaden Daniels completed 12 of 16 attempts against the blitz for 191 yards and a touchdown, the second most passing yards against the blitz by a rookie in a game since 2016 in the regular season or postseason. Daniels was blitzed on 54.1% of his dropbacks and second highest blitz rate he faced in a game this season. During the regular season, Daniels recorded a 114.7 passer rating against the blitz, the highest by a rookie since 2016. That's pretty wild, man. I mean, it just goes along with the ice in his veins thing. I mean, again, the Lions came into this just disrespecting Jaden Daniels. They didn't think anything of him. I mean, what do you do when you don't respect a quarterback? You blitz him to death. He can't handle the pressure. Right? We're going to get to him. We're going to rattle him. We're going to mess him up. Well, they blitzed him over 50% of the time, and they got cooked for it. Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions against split safety coverage in the divisional round, his most such interceptions in a game since Week 14 of 2018 against the Bears. The Commanders allowed just 10 completions for 112 yards across 23 pass attempts when playing split safety coverage, compared to 12 completions for 199 yards and 15 pass attempts while playing single high safety. Goff's only touchdown of the day was thrown against cover 0. That's pretty funny. The Commanders converted 3 of 4 fourth down attempts while also converting a 4th down off a penalty against the Lions. Dan Quinn was aggressive on 4th down, as the NGS decision guide only gave a go-for-it recommendation on 1 of the 5 scenarios when he decided to go for it, with 2 toss-ups and 1 field goal recommendation. The Commanders gained a total of 25.7% in win probability across the 5 plays. During the regular season, they gained 103.5% in win probability across 23 times they went for it on 4th down, trailing only the Lions at 119.9. So the one thing the Lions have had all year, their aggressiveness. They got out-aggressived by the Commanders, and that was a really impressive performance by the Commanders. All right. I'm falling asleep sitting here, so I'm going to let you go. I'm going to take a little newsy, and then I'm going to do Packernet After Dark. How's that sound? I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.